All right. Well, hello, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of Land Stories Live. I am your host, Dave Deniston of Generation Family Properties, LLC, where our goal is to help hundreds of people just like you own land. And most of all, we want to tell your land story. Well, I am honored to have the wonderful and lovely Christy with us once again. Christy, welcome back.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. You know, it's getting chilly up here in Minnesota. We got like 35, 40 degrees. It snowed on us in early November. So we're getting ready to hunker in for the winter. How about you? How's the weather?
No, thanks. I don't want the cold. I'll look at it when you post snow on Facebook. How about that?
All right. That's about it. Well, Christy, last week you weren't with us, but we talked about camping, and I brought up something called Hip Camp, which is really cool. People are gonna have to check that out. It's a way that people could like Airbnb the land that they buy from us. So it's a nice way to make some income off of your money. So everyone, if you hadn't checked out last week's episode, make sure to do that, where we talk about Hip Camp and how you can make money off of your land, like Airbnb style. But I want to talk a little bit more about camping, Christy. So last week I talked about how I was in Boy Scouts, and we went out to the Grand Canyon, did some backpacking out there. We went canoeing on the Colorado River, not too far actually from some of the properties that we have in Mojave County. Tell me about, we know we've talked about with you in the past, your horses and your parents' property that you had out in the greater Houston area. Where have you been camping? What's been a camping experience that you've had?
I've never really gotten to camp much. I did as a kid. A couple problems with me. Texas is very hot. So you just wouldn't want to camp in the summer. Because you're eaten alive by mosquitoes, and even at midnight, it's 92 degrees. So it's no fun. So the camping times would be spring and fall. And like you said, I rode horses. So I was competing all the time in the spring and the fall. During the nice weather, I was off competing. So I didn't get to do fun stuff like camping. But I did a camp as a kid because there were horses there. So I begged my parents to go. But it wasn't like tent camping, which I really should do. Should do that for myself. I was sleep in a tent one night because it was like cabin camping and it had proper restrooms. So it was like glamping. Before the term glamping was coined, I glamped as a kid. But I think I probably should go rough it, huh? I think it'd be kind of fun.
It is. You know, we actually this last summer we went up to the Boundary Waters up here in Minnesota, which is this beautiful area that is called the Boundary Waters because you're on the border with Canada. And so we went up there to a place called Gunflint Lodge, and we did the glamping thing where we had a cabin. And what's really cool about Gunflint Lodge is that they allow you to do all the canoeing that you want because they have canoes for there. You can take a boat out. They have fishing adventures for kids. So my two girls, one is a freshman in high school. The other one is a first grader. They went out with a guide, no parents allowed. So mom and dad couldn't come on the little fishing trip. And they go out, and Gunflint Lake is where this place is. And on Gunflint Lake, there's all of these streams feeding into the lake. And so they went and they fished over in Canada because just on the opposite side of the lake is Canada. And all these streams feed in. And so they would go and just camp out at these fishing spots where the stream is going in. And they caught a bunch of small fish. I think altogether they caught like 15. And they were little things, you know, about like yay big that were the skinny as all get out. But we did fillet one of them that they brought, and we had a little appetizer. It's what I like to call it. And so we love doing that kind of thing at least once a year if we can. I used to be in Boy Scouts, and you know, it's like you'd be sleeping on rocks in your sleeping bag, and I've kind of more ventured towards glamping after all my backpacking and sleeping bag adventures. Cool thing about the Boundary Waters is you can actually go and portage with your canoes. So, because there's all of these little bodies of water. And so a lot of people will go camping, like literally out in the middle of nowhere, where there's no cell phone reception. Your only neighbors are moose and trees. And I highly recommend it for anyone listening to go and check out northern Minnesota, Gunflint Lodge, and do some portaging. It's a lot of fun out there.
That sounds very cool.
I will say, like you said, though, the mosquitoes are about the size of a small bird. So be ready with some mosquito spray.
Yeah.
Now, where did you go? Where did you go glamping when you did go?
So I'm from just north of Houston, and I went a little bit further north it's called Lake Livingston. It's actually a really big lake, a nice lake. But it's funny what sticks out in your head. What I remember about it is we could only go to one small part of the beach to swim because they had it like fenced off because of alligators. So that freaked me out. Like I was like, oh, I don't know about this. And then the mosquitoes, and like, I don't know.
They have alligators out there, out in Greater Houston. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. No, they're not big. Like they would be 6 feet maybe. But I mean, I still don't want to be near one.
Right? Oh, that's so interesting. I had no idea. I think of Louisiana or Florida, but not Texas. Huh.
Yeah,
Learn
we
something new
definitely
every
have
day.
them. We have that. We have snapping turtles. There's all kinds of stuff in that water that really freaks me out. So I don't go in much. I really don't. I don't. We had a boat growing up, and I wouldn't go in the water. I would just sit on the boat. My parents were like, "Get in the water." I'm like, I don't want to get in the water. I have this weird phobia about water. It's strange.
Well,
Unless I'm shark diving, and I have no fear of water. Weird.
Behind me, we got a picture of Oregon, which we'll talk about Oregon here shortly at Property. You don't have to worry about gators in Oregon. So,
the cold is good for something, you see?
Right? Totally. But I know, Christy, we want to talk today about one of the things that happen when people want to buy property is there's a thing called the purchase sale agreement that we get together in I think it was 2 or 3 episodes ago. I talked about the land contract and how that works. Episode 22, we talked about the land contract, which is what happens after someone buys, whereas the purchase sale agreement is what we usually do before someone buys. So can you share with us your screen maybe? Hopefully we had some technical difficulties earlier. I will be ready in case it doesn't work for you, but go ahead and share that. I'll keep talking while you're looking to do that. And talk about the purchase sale agreement. So what you
it's already only going to share you. It's not going to share my actual screen.
So the purchase sale agreement that Christy's going to show us is just this relatively short 1 to 2 page agreement that really has everything that a person may want to know about a property in terms of how much they're going to pay and what that all is going to look like. Right now on your screen, Christy, I just see your beautiful ocean view.
Yeah, it's not, all I see is the sales contract. So it's
that's
not.
All right. Why don't you go ahead and stop sharing your screen and I'll share mine instead.
Okay, thank you.
And we can walk through a couple examples. So I want to share with people, this is what it actually looks like, real time when we get these things together. So I have in front of me this purchase sale agreement. Can you see it okay, Christy, on your end?
I can see it just fine, yes.
All right, so why don't you start walking us through what we have going on here?
So it's actually very simple. So you can see there's the seller, Generation Family Properties, that always stays the same, and the buyer will have their name, address, phone number, email address listed. And then we list the property, what county it's in. That property description, that number 1 property description, is the legal description that the county has assigned it. So it's going to be some weird, complicated thing. But that's a good reference if you ever want to call the county for anything. They'll ask you for that number, that description, or the parcel number, which is below it. So as long as you have those 2 things, when you call the county, they'll be able to answer most questions for you.
So let's pick on one, Christy, with
sure.
a property. So let me just go to the website. So genfamproperties.com is where you can find all of our listings. I'm going to click on listings, and then Christy, you just pick one randomly and we'll just start filling some stuff in here. Which one do you want us to take a look at?
I don't like the one with the snow because I don't like the cold. That Park County one looks pretty. I'd take that one.
All right.
I'll take it.
Let's pick that guy.
Give me a sales contract, please.
And so, folks, you notice here, if you're looking at the website, we have a bunch of great information here on the property. And right here, we have the APN and legal description. So I'm just going to copy this, which the APN here, we're looking at a property in Park County, Colorado. I'm copying that APN, which is the parcel number, copying the legal description, which is right here. And then, of course, we would change this to say Park County, Colorado, because it's a different county. All right, go ahead, Christy.
Okay, so then next it'll obviously have the price. So we'll have the financing price for whatever the property is. We can leave it at that for now. And then the interest rate. So the shorter your loan term, the lower the interest rate will be. So this one's a 6 years, so it'll be about 10%. But let's say you want to pay more than the minimum monthly, and it drops you to a 2-year contract, your interest rate will drop too. Mm-hmm. So all of that will be filled in. We'll have your deposit in there. So it says this will be secured by a $249 non-refundable document fee. But you might also say, or the property itself might say, okay, it's a $750. So then what it would say after that is you'll have $500 in equity. So for a total down payment of $750, equity of $501, $249 document fee. So we'll break it up so that you know exactly what your down payment is going for.
So let's go ahead and just go through this example here. So okay, cool. This one, the financing price is $12,999. So I'm going to fill that in here. $12,999. And then we're going to leave this blank for a little bit, and we'll go over a couple of examples. Now, let's just say one of the important things people should know, right, is here we have a minimum, right, Christy? But people could do more if they wanted to. So here, this is $749, just like you were just saying. So we will change this to say $249 document fee and $500 of equity, which could be refundable, due immediately. But we have a 90-day return guarantee, which is right here in this next section. All right, so keep on going, Christy.
Okay, so the minimum payment will be, I didn't catch it on that, but whatever it is, what we'll discuss with you when we chat is, okay, $249. So the minimum is $249, but just like the down payment, you might say to me or to Dave, actually, I would prefer to do $500 a month, or I would prefer to do $300 a month, or whatever the number is. So we then work backwards from there and we figure out your principal and interest, and then you'll do a prorated property tax. So we'll keep the numbers simple. If the property tax is $120 a year, that'll come out to $5 a month property tax. And then the note servicing fee is usually also around $10 a month. And then you'll get your total monthly fee.
So let's go through an example here. So what anyone can do is you can pull up a calculator. So if you go to this website, amortization-calc.com, for example, we would select personal, and then now we subtract out the equity from this price here. So if it was $12,999 and you put down $500, it's now $12,499 that you're financing because you put down $500 of equity. Now let's just use this as an example. If you finance it over 1 year, we don't charge any interest. Over 2 years is 5%, 3 or 4 years is 8%, and then 5 years or longer is 10%. So we want you incentivized to pay it off as quickly as possible. So for example, here, $189.66 a month is what it would take to pay it off over 8 years, but We're looking for $249 a month, which would include the property taxes and the note servicing fee here. So let's say that this was the property taxes. We're looking for around $234 a month, principal and interest. So let's try 6 years to see if that gets us close to $234. There we go. 6 years gets us $231.55.
You're good.
Most of the time. Most of the time. Sometimes I am bad. So what we would do in this particular case is we would get, since this is really close, we would just change this rather than 249 to be about 246.66, because we'll get you really close to what the monthly payment is going to be, and we're going to try and go under. So Christy, let's go through another example. Let's say they want to do a higher down payment. Pick a number. What do you want me to plug in here?
5,000.
5,000. All right. $4,751. Because 249, we'll say for a total of $5,000. If we take those two together, 249 plus 4,751 is $5,000. So then this leaves, and we'll usually include this language right on the contract, $12,999 minus 4,751. So that gives us $8,248, I believe. Yep. 9,999, 12. Remaining to be financed. So now it's not $12,400. Now we only have $8,248. And Christy, how long do you want to finance that for?
I think we should do 2 years. I'm feeling optimistic.
All right. 2 years. So now we're, oops, sorry about that. Knock my filter. We're going to finance it over 2 years, which is not a 10% interest rate. It's only 5%. So now you can see that's $361 a month to pay that bad boy off. And so we can play with scenarios. What if it was 3 years or 4 years? You can see the numbers change. We go from $300 plus a month down to $190. So we're happy to work with you no matter your situation, depending upon what you want to put down towards a property. All right. So let's keep going, Christy. Let's keep talking about what we got going on here.
So then it just goes over how you're going to pay. So we will take the down payment credit or debit card and we run authorize.net. So it's super simple. Boom, done. Instantly, you'll get a text or a call from one of us saying, hey, congrats, went through, you're a property owner, or will be soon. So the down payment part is simple. That's where all that goes over. And then we'll also set you up with monthly payments on the Moon Clerk. Mm-hmm. Mine looks slightly different than this. I'm going to read this as we go.
This is a brand new version that
is it brand new?
We've been utilizing lately. Yes.
Oh, cool. I like it. That's actually the next one's a good question. So you cannot build on the property until you made 6 months of payments, because that is actually a question that we get a lot. I don't know if you get it a lot, but I get it quite a bit. When can I move in? And so 6 months, or isn't it on some of the other properties, isn't it 1,500 in equity is about kind of a rule of thumb?
Yeah, I mean, it's 6 months of payments. So if of the minimum. So like in this case, we were looking at $249 a month. So I think actually that would be almost exactly $1,500 additional on top of the $500 minimum down payment. So we can waive that. If someone puts down a larger down payment, like in this case, this person was Christy, the scenario Christy was talking about doing $5,000 down, then we would waive that 6 month normal waiting period in order to get there.
Mm-hmm. And then the next part just goes over some of the financing contingencies, where if you're late, what happens, and how long until you default, and what happens if it cancels, which hopefully that never happens, but it can sometimes. So if you don't pay, then obviously the property isn't yours anymore, it gets returned. No prepayment penalties is probably my favorite part of the whole contract. which is another thing I tell people all the time. Just, maybe you want to start at the minimum payment just to make sure that you're comfortable with it and everything, but maybe you get a good Christmas bonus, or, you hit the jackpot at the casino or whatever happens. You can always prepay and it goes straight towards principal. So that's really big. That's a really good way to save yourself some interest and get it paid off sooner. Like, we really encourage you to pay it off. We would never penalize for something like that. So
yeah, it's really interesting. Some people purposely choose a longer financing period with the knowledge that they're going to pay it off sooner, but just because they want to keep that monthly payment down lower, right? Some people go the opposite. They want to put more down and do a large monthly payment so they can get it done as soon as possible and save costs on interest. So two different ways to go about it.
People don't want to be tied into a payment, but just know that you can always do more if you want. You can do more every month if you want. You can do more, lump sum or however you want, but it'll go towards your principal and you're good to go. Next section was about the title. So Dave, you will obviously know more about this because you handle it, but it's, as far as I understand, it's a pretty simple transaction. Once it's paid off, it's a warranty deed through the county, and it's pretty quick and effortless.
Yeah, so basically, people are often concerned, like one of the biggest concerns that I get from people, like, gosh, this seems too good to be true. Is this real? I'm concerned it's a scam. And this is the section that really ensures that it's not going to be a scam. Obviously, people can check with the county, make sure that we own the property. But let me just read this section aloud to everybody so that they can hear it right from the purchase sale agreement. Seller will transfer marketable title to the property by warranty deed after the contract is paid in full. So after the contract is paid in full, then we transfer the title. Seller will clear all liens and encumbrances from title, including unpaid taxes. So it's our job to make sure that you get the title, that there's no encumbrances on it, there's no unpaid taxes, everything's free and clear. And then that the seller shall be responsible for reporting the proceeds to the taxing authorities with the Form 1099-S to the IRS. If applicable, the seller will pay for any liens or judgments against the property. So this is where the buyer is protected. Very, very important section.
And then the next section is about the documentation that you'll get. It's typically about a month after the contract is written. So that date you see in this contract, that's December 8th, 2019, we put it in about a month after the contract. So this contract would have been then written November 8th. But we're just ensuring that you're going to get the documentation on time, to get everything going.
And what that is specifically is the land contract and the promissory note that we talked about 2 weeks earlier. So we're just saying this purchase sale agreement is the intent for you to buy, followed by you actually paying for it. And then we have that other documentation, which basically everything you're seeing here sums up.
Mm-hmm. And then cancellation, the buyer retains the right to terminate the agreement, and you can cancel. You have to do it in written notice. So there will be a default notice if you ever decide you don't want the property anymore. So that's pretty easy. Disclosure. I don't remember this section very well either, Dave. You might have to take this one. Each party represents themselves. Oh, it means no attorneys, no anything. It's just, that makes it pretty simple.
Do your due diligence is basically what the disclosure section is saying.
Mm-hmm.
And then assignment, I know you were asking me before we were getting going, what is that all about? So let me just address that. So what this is saying is that the buyer has an unqualified right to assign its rights under this contract to a third party. So long story short, let's say that your Uncle Charlie wants to buy the property and you don't want it anymore. So your Uncle Charlie, you can assign him the contract where he will pay us monthly rather than you. So as long as the contract is kept, it doesn't matter who's paying it, basically, as long as it's getting paid. So your Uncle Charlie might pay you $2,000 to have the rights to the contract. So that's basically what that does. So if you ended up changing your mind and you're past that 90-day guarantee period that we have, then this is another way that you might be able to get some money from someone else who can buy the rights to the property from you, which then they would be responsible for paying us. So as long as we're getting paid, it's all good, is what this is saying. Anyone can buy buy the property, it doesn't just have to be you. You can assign that right to someone else.
That's good to know. So the next section is a binding agreement, just basically saying this is a binding agreement. You are bound to this agreement as it's written. Pretty simple. And then the deadline will typically be within 24 hours. The deadline for you to sign and return this, it's all by email, so that's really easy. Once we draw it up, it'll get emailed through DocuSign. You sign it, send it back, done, and then pay the down payment. So as long as all of that's done before that date there, you're good to go.
Perfect. That's it.
Sign date, done.
And then you end up buying the property with the down payment. And we always tell folks that you need to get it back to us and pay for the property. So we don't mind holding a property for a day or two, but if it's going to be like 2 or 3 weeks, we're happy to get the agreement together for you. But we reserve the right to sell the property to whoever signs and pays first. So that's the way that we do business, because we never know who's going to come through. I don't know, Christy, if you can talk to that at all, like people that have signed and then said, oh, I'm going to pay, and then they never come through or something like that.
Yeah, it happens for sure. Whether their situation financially changes or they decide they don't want property or it's just not the right time or, who knows, but it does happen. So like Dave said, we'll do our best. We'll certainly do a contract and have it all ready. It's common where people say, oh, it's the 15th of the month. I can't pay you till the 1st. Okay, we'll put together the contract. But if somebody else comes on the 20th and says, I'll pay right then we have to go with them. But it does happen. It does happen for sure.
It does. It does for sure. All right. Well, that's enough about that. I know, Christy, that you wanted to go over a property today. So I got the map pulled up here. Where are we on the map?
Oregon is so beautiful. And so for anybody that watches these regularly, I always seem to do New Mexico and Arizona. So I said to Dave, I'm going to do Oregon. I want to pick an Oregon property and pretend I get to buy it. So right. Somebody please buy it before I do. So now tell me if I'm pronouncing this right. Is it Chiloquin? Oregon?
I say Chiloquin is what I say.
See, so one of us is probably right. I would have said Chiloquin. So I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce it, but it's in Klamath County. That I know. And look how close it is to that lake. Yeah. That was my favorite part about it.
Let's measure
so
this.
Close. So it's Agency Lake, which is like the upper arm of Upper Klamath Lake. Absolutely beautiful lake, and it's awesome trout fishing. If you Google that lake, all you see is people fishing, trout from big trout. So really awesome. It's like a 9,000 acre lake, and it's really shallow. So it's not going to be like a motorboat kind of a lake. It's really like a calm, nice lake. I feel like it would be like a great family spot. I just could see myself sitting on the shore, and it might actually be warm because it's shallow. Right. But yeah, there's the trout. There's 50 species of birds that nest and come there throughout the year. So if you're a bird lover, a bird watcher, you just want to hear the sound of the birds, it's an awesome spot. Because the property itself is full of trees. So pretty. So I didn't even say it's 1.19 acres. It's like 1.2 acres. Full of trees, beautiful. Another awesome thing, it has power and water. So a lot of people look at that. I was just saying to Dave earlier, one of the questions I get from a lot of people when I'm on the phone is, oh, I really like that property, but I don't want off-grid. Do you have anything that is on-grid? This is one of them. It's the power and water right there, provided through the HOA. They maintain the road and everything too, so they've got everything kind of set up for you. It's $200 a year for the HOA. They maintain the roads, and then all the hookups are ready to go on this property. You just have to do the actual hookup fees. So that's awesome. If you want to build something right away, that's a snap.
And you can see here, it's 2,800 feet from the lake. So half a mile. You could walk there.
Literally
Super
walk
easy.
there. Put on your flip-flops and go. Grab a beach towel and off you go.
Right? Well,
Yeah.
and to your point, Christy, there are houses around here. You can see of this property that there's no house directly to the southwest, but there is to the northeast. There's one kind of to the southeast. So you can see that there are people here, which is why, you know that there is power nearby, and there is waters. Matter of fact, I think you can even see the power poles here going right by the property. So
you can kind of see that the shadows on the road from them, it looks like.
And you can see, I think you can see them again here, kind of on the back side of the property. So they are awfully close, and it's a great area. What else besides fishing, bird watching, what is else there to do in this area?
There's state parks, national forests, there's a casino. Oh, there it is right there. Look, the casino's right there.
Yep, super close.
You can win the jackpot and pay off your property right there. There's a railroad museum. There's all kinds of outdoor stuff to do there if you like that.
What's kind of the one thing that you would really like to do if you were going to own this property? What would be your first thing?
I would camp. Don't you think? I should pitch a tent and camp, I think. Actually, you can't do that on this property, but they do have 17 1-acre sites that you can use for like RV. I think half of them have water and electric hookups. In May through October, you can camp for up to 2 weeks. So that's pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. So even like if you live there and you have a little cabin, and let's say your best friend or your brother or whoever has an RV, they cannot come park that RV on your property, but they can go to one of those sites and stay for up to 2 weeks. So it's perfect. You can have them close, but not too close.
Right.
It won't turn into a Christmas vacation type situation on your property with their RV. So awesome. I've seen such a beautiful property.
And I have it pulled up on the website now. Anything else you think people should really know about this property?
I mean, not anything big. The taxes, well, you can see it here. I'm sure, yeah, $127 a year. Another big one is it's a 1,200 square foot minimum. So a lot of times people will ask if they can build a tiny home. I know that's super popular now with the adorable tiny homes. So this wouldn't be necessarily a tiny home place, but it's 1,200 square feet is the minimum. So it's nothing huge or crazy, but so not bad. Yeah, about the HOA, they do the roads for you, so that's awesome. Power, water.
So yeah, it's just like you said, you can see we have some images here. This particular property has some trees on it. It has kind of some brush on it. You can see kind of there's a little bit of hills in this immediate area. I think there's a little bit of a slope to this property. But you can just see how well maintained the roads are, right? Not a single pothole in sight on this road. So easy access, easy to get to. Again, there is a little bit of a slope, but definitely plenty of room to build something. You might have to clear some of the brush.
And look at the mountains in the background like that. Oh, yeah. It's beautiful.
And again, you can see those power poles. So here's the power poles. They are close to the property, not too far away whatsoever. So I personally love this area, love this property. Let's talk about the financials. How much is this property, Christy?
So if you want to finance, it's only $275 a month. There's $1,000, I think it's $999. It's a down payment. So it's $750 goes to your equity, and then there's that $249 document fee. So not bad. Yep, and remember these are all the minimums. So $275 is the minimum, but if you want to pay cash, it's $14,999.
Perfect. Anything else you want to talk about Klamath County, things you can do in this area, anything that we've missed that we haven't talked about?
I can't think of anything that we missed. It's just an outdoor lovers. That's like, for me, being in Texas in the summertime, I would much rather pack up and go to Oregon and hang out by that lake. Seems so much more appealing to me.
The only other things that I think are worth mentioning about this property, it is very easy direct access to Klamath Falls. So as I zoom out on the map, we've owned some properties much further to the east, up by the Sprague River. We've owned some properties out to the southeast in Bonanza. And Klamath Falls is a straight shot down Highway 97, which is literally a minute away from this property. So you're really close to Highway 97, which also, and to Highway 62. Yep, Highway 62. Both of those go right to Crater Lake. You are 20 minutes away or so from Crater Lake from here. So very easy to get to Crater Lake, which is wonderful for anyone that wants to do outdoor stuff. That's about all I can think of. Christy, anything more you want to add on there?
No.
All right. Well, I think that wraps it up for today. Christy, if anyone's interested in that property and they want to talk to you more about it, how can they best reach you?
So good phone number to call. You can call, text 971-248-6715. And then, of course, the email is fine too. It's sales@genfamland.com.
All right. There we go, my friends. So give Christy a call before this property gets snatched up. And that wraps us up for today. Make sure to join with us Monday at 11:30 a.m. Central. And if you have a question about land, or if you have a bad dad joke, I would love to have them so we can share it here, give you a shout out as we go live and on the podcast. Well, thank you again so much for tuning in to Land Stories with me, Dave Denniston, and Christy. Make sure to check out all of our properties at www.genfamproperties.com. And if you are looking for land, you want to speak with Christy, give her a call. Christy, what's that phone number one more time?
971-248-6715.
All right, there we go, my friends. Have a good one. Talk to you later.